So, a lot of people have been reporting based off of Jay-Z's amended lawsuit towards Tony Busby and the alleged victim that claims that he was around when, Diddy was doing the taking. Okay? 13-year-old girl at the time. We've already debunked that, in my opinion, based off of my investigation of where he was and where this took place and how she got there and everything. It just was not true. It gave very much Jaguar right. Okay? Now, here's the thing. But, when lawsuits and things get filed against you and you got heavy allegations like this against you, it can hurt your reputation. And so he amended his lawsuit to say that he lost almost $20 million. And he also lost... he was denied a $115 million loan for Roc Nation and also a $55 million line of credit. I guess that he was taken out on one of his properties because I do know that he is trying to personally, him and Beyonce, move and relocate to the UK to buy another home in a very affluent neighborhood in the UK. And now my kind of gut instinct on that, because I couldn't really get everything when it comes to that, but it has a lot to do with the tariffs. America shutting down to the outside world. It is starting to begin to feel like a communist country. And, they got a lot of business they got to do. And so the UK does have tariffs, but they're not tariffs that, hurt other businesses. And so the United States doesn't have, large tariffs on the UK. So if they were doing business as residents and as a business in the UK, they could have things shipped there and then shipped to the United States so they can ship from China to ship to y'all. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like he's bypassing it. And because they are denying him loans based off of reputational damage and things like that, not based off of his asset worth, it has a lot to do with his character and things like that and who you're associated with. He's deciding to take his banking and his business dealings outside of the U.S. so that he can establish residency in the UK and they can give him loans based off of that. But I hope he knows they have debtors jail over there. Okay. But it's okay. He's obviously he's a better business person than I am, and he's made it. But here's the issue that I have, okay? Because, he's trying to recoup, I guess, some of this and use this lawsuit as leverage to help save his reputation because, needing a $55 million line of credit off of some of your assets and $115 million business line, I guess a loan for Roc Nation to help expand it and keep it going. It's a lot of money. And you would think, why won't he use his own money? Well, it's because he got to pay taxes on his own money, or he doesn't have the money. Because if he had the money, he wouldn't be asking for it. And if he really needed the money, he would cash in some of his assets. But he's not willing to do that because then you got to pay a hefty tax on those assets. So when they start collecting art and houses and all this stuff, that's what they use as collateral to the banks in order to scale their businesses, but they're still in debt. So let the appreciation, let the house depreciate, let the art depreciate and all the other assets they got. They stuck on them workers millions of dollars. And yes, they can bankrupt, of course, and keep going. But these loans, if I was a bank, I would have told them no too, because we sees what happened. They have allowed the industry to operate the way that it has for so many years that when you do have incidences like this, you're guilty before you're proven innocent, so it hurts your bottom line. And anybody can come and make any sort of allegation, whether it be real or whether it be fake. You're gonna have to take a step back and sit down. And that's what he's having to do while he's out looking for houses in the UK, that he's probably going to need that equity line of credit to secure a line of credit to buy a house in the UK so that he can settle down and actually plant a residence there. And so because they've denied him, that was the reason why Beyonce announced her tour at Christmas and got on tour to give y'all the same act that she gave y'all for Renaissance. But she's Beyonce. Of course, it's going to be a fantastic show. I'll see it 3 times. I'll see it 4 times. Right now, she's currently doing a residency in LA. She's doing her own residency in LA. Now, one thing we know about tours is that they yield you liquid cash. So she started off with only maybe a couple cities. It was like 5 or 6. And, you know, it started off with 2 shows in LA. Then it went to 3. Then it went to 4. Then it went to 5. And it says, keep selling because he's not able to leverage loans. And so when it comes to Jay-Z and Beyonce and why I feel that a lot of their businesses, especially her businesses, end up failing is because she is so disassociated from reality, and so is he. And I think maybe it comes from him because like when you come from the world of selling drugs, you're a risk taker, which means you're willing to put it all on the line to bet big. That's gambling, and he is a big gambler. They've dropped pictures in high stakes rooms, private rooms with other billionaires with them gambling for millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. She's in there with whiskey, cigars, high-end cigars. And then they forget that it's common everyday people that sustain them, but because they've been living off of assets and bank loans, and they've been coming into a lot of cash and not having to go out and knock on door after door to sell products. That's the reason her products sell, is because who's about to buy a $100 bottle of whiskey? Ivy Park. I think the celebrities got it first before we got it. I think this is probably the first product, that her Sacred, that was in a store that was even remotely affordable for a regular person. And so when their businesses don't work, they got to start a whole new one. And so with him being denied all this money so that he can help expand or buy houses and leverage his businesses and use debt to leverage, more money and more wealth so he doesn't have to cash in and devalue and depreciate the very things that he uses in order to stretch out his money, he sends his bitch on the road. He's the pimp. And she gonna be out there night after night, foot broken, ankle trying to heal. She barely dancing, but she got blue out there. He said, now get Rumi ass to the stage now. I need my money. Y'all think I'm playing, don't you? We pulled the records. $800,000 liens on properties that she got. $800,000 in a lawsuit fighting the IRS over a $3 million debt. That's not stuff that billionaires do. Come on. They're leveraging debt to leverage wealth, which essentially means they're liquid cash broke. The only way they bring in liquid cash is through her, because he can't do it. His tours ain't gonna sell. Nobody's going out. He ain't got Kanye with him. Ain't nobody going to see Jay-Z. At all. They're not going. You going? You going, Jasmine? But we will go see Beyonce 100 times, and that's why they will keep adding on show after show after show until they bleed it. And so when I saw the videos leaking online of the first day, it was sold out. It wasn't sold out. You can get your tickets for $40 to $84 on the day of, and people were moving from, nosebleeds down to the stand so they could see her closer because it was just so much space. They just kept bleeding them and bleeding them. They're gonna go to each city to leverage as much liquid cash as they can so that they can now move their assets and property out of U.S. jurisdiction, because he sees what just happened to Diddy, and it's only a matter of time. And now it's starting. And I don't wish bad on them, but I just feel like with Jay-Z being such a big risk taker, like, why do you have a $600 bottle of champagne? You're Jay-Z. Everyday common people will buy a $30 bottle of champagne from you every day. Who's got $600 every time to buy? That's only a certain certain group that don't really like to spend money. They go and get debt just like you, totally disconnected from reality. And now he got the kids out there working. Blue Ivy's the dance captain. Everybody got to work. And what is he doing? Standing backstage. Matthew knows. Get Rumi up. Let's go. Rumi went out there like this first night. Next night, Beyonce done brought the liquor to the stage. She out there with the Sir Davis. She throwing all the products on stage. They selling merch after merch. And I'm looking at the show, and it's the same show, just added country songs that we seen on the football field and that you saw at Renaissance. But like I said, she's an excellent entertainer, so you're going to have a great time, period. But when she announced another tour so soon, her fans were saying it. It's giving broke. Because the Jay-Z and Beyonce family structure no longer yields those type of loans and leverages no more. And they saw how Diddy collapsed. It's only a matter of time. And for you to get out here and say that you're separate from Diddy, and everybody saw Rock Nation brunches. We saw it all. They stopped having Rock Nation brunches. They were funding those. Money. There's no money. So they're rich broke. Not our kind of broke. Yeah, they are. They're just rich broke. Payday to payday. Payday to payday for us. You need more money, you gotta get out there, you gotta work an extra job. You got to do Uber Eats at night. You doing IT during the day, working from home, and then at night you're in the car doing Uber Eats or Uber or Lyft. You change out the signs every time. I'm all of them, all the above. Postmates too. Gotta do it. Got to do it, got to do it, got to do it. I hope they're able to kind of get through this. I really do, but Jay-Z is such a big gambler. I'm talking about gambling poker-wise and gambling on business. It's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do with the proceeds that she's going to make, the liquid cash. Because you got to understand, if you're borrowing this kind of money, do you know how much debt they're probably really in? He needed that money. He needed that money. And when you don't get it, you got to get it by any means necessary. Pimping the hoe.